Good morning. I stand here in a field of wheat because it is here that the Torah teaches one of the most important messages that it has to give over to us. In this week's parasha, we see a mitzvah that maybe doesn't relate to us so much in the year 2020, living in cities in Brooklyn and so on. And that is the mitzvah of pe'ah, the idea that we leave a section of our field. Pe'ah sometimes means corner, but it actually means rows of wheat. We leave certain rows for the aniyim, the poor people, to be able to walk through, potentially work and take some of the wheat for themselves. And it's a very interesting idea because most of us are very familiar with the idea of Sedaqa, which means charity, which generally is understood to mean that I take from what is mine, my property, my possessions, my money, and I hand it over to a person who is less fortunate than I, a needy person. I give him and I help him get a step up. The problem with that version of helping another person is in doing so, in providing him that which he needs, I create a problem. I create a tremendous gap between me and that person. When I give to that person and that person takes from me, although he now has what he has, and maybe economically and financially he's that much closer to me, but emotionally, psychologically, the gap has now grown because he is dependent upon me. He needs me, and I know it, and he feels it. It's for this reason, actually, that the Rambam said that when we give tzedakah, it's better that we do it anonymously so that the person doesn't know from who it's coming. Where did the Rambam get this idea? It's really from the idea of pe'ah and the way the Torah gave the mitzvah of pe'ah. The Torah says it's nice to give tzedakah, and sometimes we're commanded to do that, but the best thing to do is to allow the ani to work in your field. And he works alongside your workers. It's not off in a corner somewhere. You give him a row. You give the anim a row of their own, which is hard to tell what row it is or isn't. And therefore, the ani is able to work that row and have the dignity of feeling that he is providing for himself. And in doing that, the mitzvah of pe'ah created an unbelievable thing. It created the possibility of the ani not only getting the sustenance that he needs, but also getting the emotional, psychological pick-me-up, the uplift that he needs as well, bringing him closer to those who have and not further away. And it's a really, really important message that we have to consider. And that's why the Rambam said that when we give tzedakah, the best version of tzedakah is not to give the person what he needs, but to give the person the ability to help himself get what he needs on his own, to be able to become self-sufficient. So we have to be really cautious when we give tzedakah. When we give tzedakah, it's great to be able to write the big check and to help people out and to do the things that we need to do. But we have to be careful for what the Torah wanted us to be careful of. And that is to be careful of making the other person feel small as I give them the help. And therefore, when we're giving our tzedakah, it's not enough to just do the good deed. We have to keep in mind the emotional needs of the ani just as much as we have to keep in mind the economical and financial needs of the ani. And we have to do everything that we can to bridge that gap. And often that will mean taking steps such as being anonymous and thinking more creatively about how we can give the tzedakah to the ani, how we can make the ani no longer an ani, or feel that he or she is not an ani. Be'ezrat Hashem, if we internalize this message, then we'll be doing Hashem's work here on earth, and we'll really be showing the glory and beauty of the Torah. I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom.